Hey everyone, welcome to a very special episode of I Was There Last Night, because I was there last night. See? Don't even try to read it because you know you're not going to. And it's not really special because they're all special. Last night, April 28th, 2017, at the Fillmore Auditorium in Denver, Colorado, I saw Killswitch Engage and Anthrax featuring The Devil Wears Prada and Code Orange. Now, I haven't been back to this venue since I saw Alice in Chains back in 2010. And it's a good place, but it's not one of my favorites because it's a little too big for a non-arena show. It's a fairly large, small venue. I also really don't like Live Nation. And just like that Alice in Chains show, it was a cold and snowy night, but that means good conditions for metal. So the first up was Code Orange, who's a metalcore punk hardcore band. Now I was curious about this band after hearing them talk with Jamie Josta on his podcast, but I will say this, their music is very confusing to me. They have the energy of a hardcore band, but a lot of their sound is very sludgy. There was also a lot of dead space between songs, just them standing up there with some sounds playing overhead. I was really expecting some breakdowns the way that they were firing up the crowd, but the breakdowns never came. They almost sounded like a less rhythmic version of Unearth at times. I also had to endure some sexist comments from fans regarding their female guitar player, but that, I guess, comes with the territory. Overall, they sounded good, and I'll at least give their albums a shot, but it was just a very strange set. It was like watching a band of teenagers who just got their instruments for the first time and want to go jam in the garage. In that sense, it was endearing, but also just very confusing. So next up was The Devil Wears Prada. Now this is a band that has always been in the background, and I've just never explored them. They rose to fame in the mid-2000s when metalcore was really gaining steam, in the States at least, where a lot of bands like Trivium and Unearth and Killswitch Engage really started to take center stage as some of the more popular acts out there. But I will say they gained fame with good reason, because they do have a superb metalcore sound, which definitely comes with years of fine-tuning. This was the first instance that this show really felt like a throwback for me to the mid-2000s when you just had metalcore band after metalcore band playing on the same stage. They have excellent melody and they sounded great. Now I couldn't always make out the vocals over the guitars though, but otherwise they did sound really good. And the crowds responded well with good pits and lots of energy. They definitely set up Anthrax and Killswitch Engage really well. I think this was a good choice for them to start as the opener. Unfortunately, I was also witness to a fight that, even at a metal show, is criminal assault. So, come on people, this is a metal show. You don't need that kind of stupidity there. Everyone's there to have a good time. I really just wish I knew the names of the songs that they were playing, because I really dug their sound and I want to check them out. I've waited long enough. I've put Devil Wears Prada off for long enough, but now I think I really want to check them out. And then came Anthrax. I wasn't always an Anthrax fan, but seeing them live in 2015 with Volbeat really changed that. And now I can safely say I am definitely a fan of their music, and I was actually most excited about their set tonight than I was about Killswitch Engage. For All Kings is a solid album, so I was really hoping they would play a few tracks from it. They had a great set with old and new hits. Like, obviously I was hoping they would play stuff from like Among the Living, and of course they did. Now, Joey Belladonna's voice isn't as strong as it once was, but the guy still knows how to rock. He still knows how to command a stage, as does the rest of the band. They definitely have a great rapport with the crowd, but that's because the crowd was also responding really well to their sound. And it's great to see the old guard still having so much fun. You've got Scott Ian, Frank Bello, Charlie Benanti. I love his drumming. He's one of my favorite drummers. And then Jonathan Dene is just an absolute shredder on guitar. Now, it's hard to choose a favorite song from the night because obviously Indians is probably going to own the show. You just gotta love watching the war dance in the pit whenever they get to that part of the song. But they played songs like Among the Living. They opened with Among the Living. I Am the Law, NFL, Madhouse, Caught in a Mosh. I mean, they just hit all of the great songs. I also really enjoyed Evil Twin and Blood Eagle Wings from For All Kings. In fact, Blood Eagle Wings is my favorite song from the album. Thrash is still very much alive, especially while a band like Anthrax puts on excellent live shows like this one, and they're going to keep people coming back as long as they continue producing and putting on shows like this because it was awesome. Lastly, but definitely not leastly, Killswitch Engage. Now, I have not seen this band since a very hot day in Phoenix, Arizona in August 2005 at Ozfest. It doesn't take long for them to prove why they are one of the best bands out there and why they are such a popular band. They have an excellent stage presence, and their sound is spectacular, though I will say the speakers did briefly go out during one of their songs. Probably not their fault, but definitely one of those like low points when the speakers go out. It helps that they had a consistent lineup for the majority of their career, minus the vocals, of course. But Jesse Leach definitely sounds better now than he did when he left, but I think that's just time and giving him more experience to really tune his sound. They kicked it off with Hate by Design from their latest album, which is probably my favorite song from that album. And honestly, I know the Howard Jones era of Killswitch Engage much more than their last two albums, so some of these songs were a little bit unfamiliar to me, but I still absolutely loved every single one that they played. Because like Anthrax, it was a great mix of old songs and new songs. They played My Last Serenade, The New Awakening, Strength of the Mind, My Curse, A Bid Farewell, Embrace the Journey, Upraised. I mean, they had such a well-done set list, and they just kept hitting them one right after another. But of course, the crowd was really lifted with songs like Rose of Sharyn and The End of Heartache, because those are definitely songs that people really know and get into. They even brought out Joey Belladonna to help sing on Holy Diver to end the night. That was just an awesome send-out. But if I did have to pick a favorite, it might have been This Is Absolution, because that's one of my favorite Killswitch Engage songs, and it really plays amazing live. It is such a fast, energetic, fun song, and it was amazing. This band was awesome, pure and simple, and I definitely want to see them again. I don't want to wait another 10 years to see them, but as long as they're producing like this and putting out shows like this, I will absolutely see them the next time they come through town. Overall, I definitely left satisfied. I wanted great sets from Killswitch and Anthrax, and neither one of those disappointed, and I even got another enjoyable set from The Devil Wears Prada. And of course, we got a good fair dose of Adam D's shtick, which he is such a joker. Dirty, funny, but a joker. The crowd seemed especially ornery tonight, but I think that just fueled the mayhem for what this show was and what it produced. Ultimately, though, metalcore ruled the night, but the thrash legends left a lasting impact, and hopefully they brought in some new fans with their set. This is the kind of package I like to see. I want to see more like this. Old bands and new bands, thrash and metalcore, because I think it works well together. It displays the diversity that you get with metal and gives young fans an education in the OG metal bands. And the more you know, the more you rock. If you were there last night, let me know what you thought of the show, how much you enjoyed it. If you were in that pit, tell me just how crazy it was, because it looked pretty crazy. And that does it for this episode of I Was There Last Night, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Nice work. Good job. If you like what you saw, you can just go ahead and click that subscribe button for all videos past and future. You can also head over to my website and see all the other stuff that I do, including the books I've written. So go ahead, click stuff.